I don't know. I just don't know. We're getting ready. Yes, you did. Hey there. Thank you, Ben, for the chicken dance, I think. And hey, everybody, let me turn the music down just a tad. There we go. Second. Oh, it's Monday evening, 7 p.m. Eastern, here in this neck of the world. I am Super Pac Jr. Welcome to my stream. And I'm going to start up Monday by saying hi to the newly followed. Thank you for following me, Aaron TV. I think I said that last time around, but you deserve a second shout out. Thank you very much for following. Appreciate it. Also, thanks to Vets Mueller for following me. Appreciate that. In fact, we met today, as a matter of fact, on a stream from Ayin. And Blue Raven 26. Find out we're neighbors, practically. Well, welcome to my stream. Thanks for following as well. Well, so all of last month, we were looking at the games that were kind of rare gems. In other words, they were critically acclaimed. They got great reviews from all the magazines and whatnot, but they didn't move too much off the shelf. Well, this month on Monday, we'll be looking at why I got. Essentially, what prompted me to get a certain console. And I can't think of any better console to start off with than the one that actually brought back the video game industry to people's houses. That, of course, would be the Nintendo Entertainment System. So we'll take a look at that, and you might be surprised at the games. I was talking about it with a couple of my colleagues who's familiar with what I do here, and they were like throwing out games. You know, why I bought the NES? And they were mentioning games like Crystallis. Well, yeah, I like Crystallis and all. It's a great RPG, but it came out years after the NES. And of course, you know, like Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy came out after the NES. We're talking about games that I saw that were around when the NES came around as well. And might be surprised, like I said, what I have in mind. So let's take a look at the old NES right here. Yes, this is the thing that kind of brought back home gaming. Doesn't look like your average video game console of yesteryear. A lot of them were top loading. This wound up being a top loader at some point, but this looked more like your VCR. And what happened back in the mid-80s, the VCRs were somewhat top loading or front loading, so they kind of crossed them. And you open up that lid, you stick in a cartridge, front load it, pop it down, and turn on the console. And after years and years, you know, pray to God that it actually works. But at first, it did work. Nintendo for The Legend of Zelda. That is close, but The Legend of Zelda did not come out during Nintendo's launch. It came out shortly after. I did get that game, though, when it did come out, so I'll give them that. Good guess on your part, then. I will tell you, that is one of my absolute favorite Nintendo games. But that's not why I got a console. That's not why I got the NES. So, if you recall, back in the days of Nintendo, back when Atari and ColecoVision and Intellivision and all of them were out, Nintendo was primarily doing arcade stuff. They didn't do home console yet. So this is how you saw Nintendo in your daily life. You actually went to an arcade and you found games like Popeye, and that's Super Mario Brothers, Donkey Kong, original Mario Brothers, Donkey Kong Jr., and over there at the very end, it's Punch-Out!, believe it or not. I know that's why I got GameCube and Wii and so forth. Sure, Nintendo, in my opinion, I've been doing this for just a couple of years, I guess, is arguably one of the greatest first-party vendors of them all. They have, hey Blue Raven, how you doing? Hey there, hello there neighbor, yes. First time chat, hey, welcome Blue Raven 26. We kind of met today at Ayin Interactive, excuse me. Her wonderful stream. Hello there. Found out that we are county neighbors of sorts. As I was saying here, Blue Raven, welcome to my stream. We're talking about why I got, and we're talking about the Nintendo Entertainment System. Nintendo Entertainment System came out in the summer of 1986 here in North America. And like I was saying earlier, Nintendo's presence in the video game market was simply this, arcade. They did have home versions of games, but they didn't make it themselves. Remember, Atari made certain games like Mario Brothers. Coleco made certain games like Donkey Kong Jr. Parker Brothers made certain games like Popeye. So all these games were made by other people, but Nintendo started making games themselves. So I thought to myself, wow, I can have some of their best arcade games for my console, and lo and behold, there they are. So we're going to ignore this game, because this game kind of came with a system back in the day. Regardless of what system you bought, you got this one. This was one of the few one-for-one games out there called Super Mario Brothers. We've all seen it. You can, as soon as you see the cartridge, you can hear the music in your head. It's that simple. And Miyamoto and Gunpei created this thing, along with the original Mario Brothers, Donkey Kong, so forth. But this is not one of the reasons why I got the Nintendo. You kind of just got this game with your Nintendo. And if you got, depending on what version you got, you even got Duck Hunt with it, and sometimes you even got with the Rob Robot, maybe Gyromite. But I got it for this game, Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong, the original game that Mario starred in. Of course, he was not a plumber then; he was a carpenter, and he climbed the building, rescuing his beautiful girlfriend Pauline from the clutches of Donkey Kong at the top of each skyscraper level. And this wasn't exactly like the arcade game. It's pretty darn close, though. But certainly one of the reasons why I have this one. Got hit with 4 ads. Okay, all right. I'll just talk about the games here in just a second. 4 ads. Wow. That's their way I can pause that. Can't I suspend the ads? Is there a way for me to do that? I'll tell you what. We'll just kind of hang around here for a bit. Why not? Donkey Kong. So like I said, good old Donkey Kong was the game that kind of got me the Nintendo. At least it sold me that. Once you hear it say here, Vin. Super Mario, almost everyone who had an NES had. Right, these didn't start getting the game Super Mario Brothers until well after the Nintendo was released. So, again, that was kind of a default. Duck Hunt, not so much. Duck Hunt was an arcade game, by the way. In fact, a lot of these games you're about to see here on this list are arcade games, including Super Mario Brothers. Super Mario Brothers I played, believe it or not, in a local convenience store. It was called Circle K. And so my best friend and I, we'd walk home from high school, and there was the Circle K, and lo and behold, there is Super Mario Brothers. And we kind of spent quite a few afternoons there, having our ICs, or slush puppies rather, because that's what they sold back in those days. And we slurped down a couple of slush puppies and played Super Mario Brothers. So Donkey Kong, like I said, is one of the games. Another game that I got was Mario Brothers. Now this is not the Super Mario Brothers, this is the original Mario Brothers. Baffles me that an unopened Mario went for $1 million. I will question the validity of that. I think that might have been something of a, I wouldn't say ruse, but I think there was something behind that. Because you can, the game was so damn common. That's the thing. Yes, it's unopened. Yes, it's never been touched by human hands, whatever you want to call it. But the problem with that is that everyone who owned a Nintendo at a certain point, especially in the first several years, got one of those. Nintendo even questioned that one, and they sold a $150 Golden Wii, some superstar. Yeah. One thing I'll say about this one, as we the ads continue, and let's put it this way: when you can go out there, and this is Nintendo's end, and resell the same game over and over and over again. And they do it. They did it through the Virtual Console, the eStore, whatever they called it. They did it through a series of cards. They actually had a card reader for their handhelds. And I have a Donkey Kong Jr. that came in a set of 5 cards. You swipe the cards through, and then when it loaded up the game, there's Donkey Kong Jr. on my Game Boy. So, my Game Boy Advance, rather, because they were doing the NES Classic series back in those days. And Donkey Kong got the cartridge, Donkey Kong Jr. got the cards. And of course, they were doing that with the Pokemon cards of that particular day and time. And we'll wait for, I don't know when the ads start and stop. I do apologize for that. Blue Raven. But, here we go. Anyway, Mario Brothers. That's the game that kind of got Mario being a plumber. And of course, the Shell Creepers got their start here. And of course, the Side Steppers and the Slip Ice. And of course, those pesky flies. And, of course, the coins. Someone is noticing you. Really? Okay. Fantastic. Atari actually sold the home versions of the time back for the Atari 2600s and 5200s. And what they did, they came up with a wonderful ad slogan. I don't have it loaded up here yet, but it was something gumming up the plumbing. They did it to the tune of Car 54, Where Are You? And they did Mario, Where Are You? Was their ad. So there's that. But this is the first Nintendo. Amazon wants to make a few bucks off of you, I guess. Yeah, I guess. That's okay. Amazon wants to pay me, they can pay me. That's fine. I'm not going to question that. So there's Mario Brothers, and of course then, let me zoom back out so you can see the next game. Excite Bike. Believe it or not, this was an arcade game from Nintendo. And this game is very much like the arcade game, as a matter of fact, except for this game you can actually build your own track, which was a very nice little feature, and certainly fun to play. I just noticed I just dropped a whole ton of frames just now. Holy cow. Okay. Fantastic. Let's hear for the frame drop. Yeah. Good heavens. Okay. Moving on. So, Excite Bike, of course, you would go through the track, complete with other players, try not to crash into them, try to avoid the obstacles, jump the ramps, don't let your engine overheat, etc., etc., etc. Fun game. I love playing this. And I used to play this in a grocery store if I didn't find it in the arcade, believe it or not. And then, of course, there's Popeye. Yes, Popeye, the comic strip character. Nintendo made an arcade game out of this one as well. And, of course, you're out there rescuing Olive Oil from the evil Bluto, who is throwing bottles, and Sea Hag is throwing skulls and all kinds of neat things. Of course, you also want to rescue Sweet Pea. You got Wimpy to help you out somewhat. Classic game of all the elements that you find from a Popeye cartoon or comic strip. And there it is. And, of course, made a wonderful game as well. It's one of the few high-res games that Nintendo made. High-res meaning that it wasn't your typical 480i game. It was in the 720-ish, I think. But nevertheless, though, you'll see if you see it in the arcade version versus the home version, you'll see why. And I believe that's it. Yeah, Popeye. So we're going to look at these four games here. Donkey Kong, Mario Brothers, Excite Bike, and Popeye. And why not? They were actually fun to play. And Mario Brothers particularly. My brother and or my best friend, we'd be sitting there with the Nintendo on. We did this with the Atari. And, of course, we played two-player simultaneously. Not quite co-op. And we'd, of course, have, one would flip the shell creeper over, and the other one would punch up right underneath it and flip it right back up. And, of course, well, that's bad news for you, I guess. So, let's go ahead and switch over the game. And I'm going to go over here. I'm going to go over here. And let's go ahead and start one up, shall we? We're going to start with Donkey Kong as we start off our game. Eventually. There it goes. I almost put on Donkey Kong 3. Not quite. Although there is a Donkey Kong 3, believe it or not. And there it is. Excellent. Alright, so let's go ahead and stop the music for a second. I notice the game is dropping rates like crazy. I'm not sure what's going on here. Okay. Not sure what's going on. We've run this emulator before without any problems, and now it's giving all kinds of hiccups. I'm getting all kinds of frame rate drop using CPU or GPU. I was using GPU. Well, let's see how it plays first before we start abandoning ship here on the emulator, because I do have two different NES emulators. This is the better of the two. And you know what? I usually like to put it on TV here, so give me a second. There it is. All right. Run any better? Probably not. All right, see what I got here. Oh, that does not sound good. Oh my goodness. Okay, first of all, let's pause it for a second. I'm going to kill the arcade. Maybe that might help out just a tad. Oh, immensely. I may have spoke too soon. Anyway, this is Donkey Kong. Now, you are indeed Mario. You suck. You're indeed Mario, and of course you up there trying to get to Pauline there, who is, well, not too happy because she's pretty much prisoner by Donkey Kong. This is the first of 3 Donkey Kong games they made, each of them for both the arcade and, of course, the NES. Donkey Kong Jr. will be the second one. It's the only time Mario's the bad guy. And then Donkey Kong 3, which doesn't feature Mario at all. Ooh. Barrels do not explode, no. But you whack them with a hammer like that. Now, there are minor differences between this game and the arcade game. The arcade game, the scoring was a bit different. Jumps are still 100 points, but when you whack them with a hammer, the barrels were worth 300. Anything blue, anything that's cursed, in other words, like a fireball or a blue barrel, which you don't see here, that could be worth anywhere between 300, and 800 points. Hammers are worth nothing by themselves. And the items that are dropped, like the umbrella and the purse there, and yes, that is a purse, they increase in value as you go up through stages. So initially they're worth 300, then 500, then 800, which is a common scoring pattern in this game. Now, I've seen a lot of people play differently to try to maximize as many points as they can. You probably could do that here, but I don't play that way. I actually play survival mode, so despite the fact that I died early. Whoa. Yeah, wake up, Mario. Now, in this particular game, there is a 4th board that's not featured. It's called a conveyor belt board. And there are cement pies and fireballs and all that kind of neat stuff. No home version actually had this until many years later. The Nintendo 64, believe it or not, got it. I hated when people picked this board in Smash Brothers. The rivet board, this is what this is, the rivet board. Or the one with the big spring. Because a lot of people don't like the spring board, the one with the elevators. I don't know why. That's actually my favorite board. I think largely because of the sound. It's a crazy sound. The first... Oh, the one with the barrels? That'll be the ramp board, believe it or not. I'm going to have to check something out here in just a second. Well, you got to remember the board. You got to remember, yeah, everything would be a death trap in this one because there's so many pitfalls. The TV is my display. The emulator is inside the TV. The TV is my display. That's very much reminiscent, Blue Ribbon, of my TV that I had back in this day and age. And I loved the Nintendo because it was the first console I ever had that used audio-video cables as its primary hookup, as opposed to the RF switch. And this was an automatic RF switch, as opposed to the previous generation's manual RF switch. You know, the ones you actually switch from game to TV. But the TV, whenever I play games like this, there is an arcade backdrop. What the hell is going on here? There's an arcade backdrop, and then there's a TV backdrop, and the TV backdrop is for this. You don't miss it? Yeah. I don't miss how heavy they were. I had a 19-inch Zenith, if you can believe that. And I don't miss how heavy that stupid thing was. So thank goodness for LCD televisions, because they really changed everything. In fact, let's hear it for LCD televisions. They really changed everything. Wow, this game is really slowing down all of a sudden. I'm going to have to check what my settings are. Funny thing is, you have an old 80s or 90s TV, some old games run better for GoldenEye. It's having worse performance on LCD. That's largely because of the frame rate. Cathode ray tube televisions work entirely different from that of LCD televisions. Refresh rates are different. Oh, good job. Refresh rates are different. How they draw is different, so forth. Some people like the accuracy and the speed of the cathode ray TV. I don't blame them. The only two I have left in my abode here are my two arcade games. I have a Pac-Man and a Ms. Pac-Man. And everything else is a LCD TV, and it is different. and I will have to admit. Okay, get up, get down, get down. No, you don't get 100 points for these fellas for whatever reason. Yeah, I'm gonna have to see what the hell's going on here. So let me pause. We got a drunk game here. All right, this of course means it's a malfunction. And that means we have to please stand by. Be back in a sec. What I'm doing right now is I'm checking to see how the video cards is. I have a GeForce card, GPU, whatever. And thank you so much. Yeah, you can. By the way, oh my gosh. So right now we're checking the configuration right now and see what the hell's going on with it, because I've never had this before. The NES emulator usually runs pretty damn smooth on this computer, but this is not a gaming computer per se. This is an office computer that I've been doing this on, because honestly, I was not a PC gamer. I am a console gamer, and I've been a console gamer longer than probably chat. For over 45 years now. So let me see what I have going on here today, please. All right. Okay. You can hum amongst your. You're the same. Yeah. It was easier, I think, to do consoles. Computers, back in my day, were expensive. And I used to have people like, I paid over $4,000 for my PC. Well, that's good for you. They don't cost that much now. But if you want something that has serious performance and whatever like that, you'll wind up paying quite a few pennies for it. But in my case, I just stuck with consoles. I was an arcade game junkie for quite a few years. I'd be a kid riding up to the arcade on his bicycle. And there were quite a few of them back in those days, so... Okay, the features are taking forever to load. Thank you very much. Okay. Game and optimization. Yeah, I'm going to have to revert back, aren't I? So, pardon me. Apologize for this. This is how it works sometimes. Okay. As someone who does PC games too, I'd rather have console, but PS5 is out of my price range. Agreed. Absolutely agreed. We used to call it the price threshold. Now, for your edification, Blue Raven, I used to work for the large video game retailer years and years ago, back when it was in its infancy. In fact, even before it became the name that it is now, which I'll refrain from saying. It reminds with Flame Flop. But I worked for its predecessor as well, and its competitor when they had a competitor. When at HL? Yes. But in my case, screw the please stand by. Let's go to the Starfield, shall we? I've heard the please stand by music. I'm the one who's playing it. It was just easier to get consoles back in those days. It really was. And I've had a great deal of time collecting consoles. In fact, I own probably over 30 of them. Last time thank you, appreciate it. Please stand by. It's awesome. Thank you. I was looking for the Jedi Survivor, but the $70 for a game is poorly optimized makes me feel like I saved money. Even today's patch on forums didn't do it. Really? I think they spent all that money getting Mark Hamill to hawk the game. That could have been it. That could have been it. Maybe. All right. If this doesn't start working properly, we're going to have to do something else here. But I wanted to show at least the games, or at least play my games, because damn it, they're my games. I got to get my Nintendo stuff back together. Wouldn't doubt too much effort on looking real instead of being actually being a game. That's a good point. Okay, I'm going to do auto select. I'm going to do that. Apply. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. Hit apply. Thank you. It's Monday. Nothing works right on Monday. Remember that. It's Monday. Nothing works on Monday. Back to the console. You better work, or I'm going to turn you into a virtual boy. And by the way, that's the one thing you can never give me. Nothing you can do will convince me. I don't care what you say. You can offer me cash. I will not take a virtual boy. That thing sucked harder than a Hoover. All right, let's get to work. Ah, thank you. Can we still see it? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So we're going to say this game didn't occur. VR or 3D, Vin says. Okay. VR is funny. I've seen all the stages of what they've come up with VR. I've seen the various goggles. I've seen them make goggles back in the day, back in the 90s. They had one that you can also use for your console to watch movies and make it appear like it's a big screen TV and right in front of your face. Is it worth it? Absolutely not. In fact, I actually got the free demonstration of it. And if you had things where, like I said, we're not really concentrating on this game. We're going to skip this one and move to another Donkey Kong game because I couldn't play it. You got to remember, back in the day, a lot of the games were in the 320 to 480 I range, and so they had scan lines, something you don't really see today anymore. And scan lines did not work well on VR goggles. So, having said that, your PlayStation had them, even your PlayStation 2 on a poorly made game had one. Had them. All the old consoles had them. So that's just the way it was. But the technology is now viable enough where it's a playable thing. Is it fun? Yeah, it is actually. Do people do stupid shit on it? Absolutely. And if you don't believe me, just check out your average YouTube fail video. You'll probably see somebody on a VR goggle set, ramming around inside their living room, bonking into things, smashing into windows, destroying their own TV sets. Why not? In the meantime, I'm sitting over here in my office chair playing Donkey Kong. Because life's good. The reason why, going back to the topic, like there was one, the reason why I got this one, because this is the first Nintendo Donkey Kong made for a console. The idea of actually playing, it can't be arcade accurate because the screen dimensions are wrong. If you remember, Donkey Kong was a vertical-oriented game instead of a horizontal. But, having said that, it was just fun to see what Nintendo could do with the console. And arcade games and console games, they were still a few miles apart as far as what they're capable of. Arcade games danced around console games big time. Ataris didn't have anywhere near the memory of that of your average arcade game. Usually they only had maybe a tenth of it, if that. A lot of 1K games out there. You got fonts and sound bits. Oh, you damn it! Fucking out. Sound bits and fonts bigger than that. So Yeah. But, having said that, I was wondering if that was going to work. Having said that, these games in this era, well, they were a bit larger, they were a bit more sophisticated, and Nintendo certainly could do arcade-style games, because look at Super Mario Brothers, it was nearly identical to that of the arcade game. Not exactly, but pretty damn near. Okay. Now, do I bother with a hammer? Nah, because I want to maximize as much bonus as I can. Now, I played this game competitively in the arcades, so I go back that far. I was pretty good. Wasn't the greatest. I don't do the keep re-jumping the barrels over and over again, and standing next to Donkey Kong and wasting time and all that. I just played to see how far I could go. Well, don't feel bad, Blue Raven. There is a chap that I worked with for a whole lot of you suck. A whole lot of years. And he could not get to the top of the first board of Donkey Kong. In other words, this one, but level 1, or wave 1, whatever you want it. And I kid you not, I offered him $20. Yeah, that's why he's worth no points, because he can do that. I offered him $20 to get to the top of this board. Out of my own pocket. No strings, nothing. And he's a wonderful gamer. He plays really good stuff. He's big into flight simulators and that type of thing. Games with actual details and mechanics and stuff like that, as opposed to games where I still steer barrels depending on where I move and how I move. Like this game, for example. And he couldn't do it. Could not do it. And fortunately, it wasn't like in front of anyone. This was in private. Because, it is kind of embarrassing. Just a tad. Nintendo 64 had Donkey Kong 64, and they actually had a Donkey Kong arcade game in it. And it wasn't emulated. It was simulated, but... Oh, why did I do that? But it was pretty damn close, because it didn't include the conveyor belt board. That was a lot of fun to play. Let's do the hard board, because I sucked at the easy one, right? I'm going to be much better at the hard one. But a lot of my games that I really excelled at were kill screen games. They were games that had no end. You just pretty much played till you lost your last life. Survival games, what do you want to call it? Okay. There's a gentleman that I watch, I think it was the 80 Retros game or something like that. He plays Donkey Kong. He actually has a Donkey Kong cabinet, excuse me. And he plays crazy Donkey Kong. He averages about maybe 6,000 points, sometimes 10,000 points a board. And that's just absolutely nuts. I can't play that way. Just like people play patterns on Pac-Man, I've never learned to play patterns. I've learned to play by the game mechanics. And my reasoning is that if you can play by game mechanics, you can do virtually anything you want to in the game. It's just how much patience do you have and how good of a timing do you have, like that. That's pretty damn close. Don't worry. I'll get to another game soon. This is me having my midlife crisis. Ah. Didn't really want to do that. And I got all 4 of those over there. Now, depending on where I am and where I face depends on where those damn foxfires are. Yeah. And they, I believe, are worth nothing. Fireballs, for whatever reason, are worth 0 in this game. Which is different from the score. Anything is worth 100 points if it's an enemy. Except for the oil drum at the beginning of each ramp stage. That's worth nothing. Okay, I got a bit of a dilemma here. I got those 2, on the right side of the rivet, and I got this jackass on the left side of the rivet. So let's see what I can do. Okay. Oh, yes, you would. Damn. Get up here. Get up here. You too. Oh, perfect. No. Ah. Yeah, I hear you. Again, learning the mechanics, you can do whatever you want in the game. In this case, though, I'm running out of time. But that's how the game plays. Believe it or not, let's talk about Donkey Kong. Take that monkey, yeah. Believe it or not, Donkey Kong actually had a Saturday morning cartoon in the early to mid 80s. Oh, that was dumb. Good job, Skip. On CBS, the Colombian Broadcasting System. And it featured Soupy Sales, an old-time comedian. Thank you, Vin. Appreciate it. I haven't even finished yet. Not more to know. You haven't known it yet. Wait until I finish. Then you can start shitting on me like this. What was I saying? Oh, yes. The Saturday morning cartoons. Everything had to have a cartoon. Think about it. Rambo had a cartoon. Fonzie had a cartoon. Godzilla had a cartoon. Star Wars had cartoons. So why not video game characters? And the first one to have one, of course, Pac-Man. But Donkey Kong came shortly after. And it featured Soupy Sales. He was an old-time comedian. As Donkey Kong, and believe it or not, Peter Cullen, yes, the voice of Optimus Prime, was Mario. But, of course, this is before he was Optimus Prime. He hadn't hit the big time in voice acting yet. Okay, here comes the fun elevator board. Because those things are dropping to the point you only hear two springs before every drop. In the easy board, this is like the equivalent of wave 4. And I'm not going to make that jump. Means I'm going to have to avoid that thing 3 times. Awesome. No points for missing that, by the way. Sucks. Okay. Aha. There you go. Yeah, for some reason I do better on the hard version than I do on the easy version. I don't know why. That's just that. It's just years playing this stupid thing. I was so happy to get this game, though. Now, don't get me wrong. There were a lot of good Nintendo games otherwise, from the same era. I never got a Rob Robot either. Wanted one, but I found out there's like almost no use to it whatsoever. Oh, if they all went up that ladder, that'd be great. But no. Oh, excellent. Steering. Once again. And what happens in this game, the way when you climb ladders and how you approach ladders and face and all that kind of stuff determines in what the other things do, like the barrels. Thank you. Thanks for leveling up. I appreciate it. Don't worry. Like I said, this is where I start screwing up. Like now. Oh. Now, if you never played the oh, Jesus. Walked right into it, Skip. Good job. Programmer. Never played the arcade game. When he tosses barrels down, just like, you saw just a few seconds ago, like the one I face planted into. They come down so haphazardly. It's actually funny. Like I said, this is where I screw up, so. It's called losing momentum. I'm very good at that. When I was younger, I had reflexes. Now I'm older, I have arthritis. So by me turning around like that, made the barrel go down that ladder. That's how the game plays. Oh, perfect. Yeah. 33,003. Oh, wow. That was close. When I play games like Pac-Man, by the way, I used to like aim for a score and just kind of stop. So I, like 33,330. Because it's just fun to do. Or if I see a relatively challenging high score, I'd like to see if I can beat it. Doesn't always work. Come on. Come on. Come on. There you go. Okay. Now, Vin said earlier, if I recall correctly, sir, that this is your least favorite stage on Smash Brothers? This actually is one of my favorites. Because, A, the board royally sucks. Yeah, I got hit. The board royally sucks as a fight platformer because of all the different levels. But B, and worst of all, well, it's cheap. It's just a cheap. Alright, so that is Donkey Kong. Now, I used to play this game in the supermarket because it was closer then to the arcade. And this is the game that introduced Mario from a carpenter to a plumber. And you might recognize some things, but it plays completely differently. So what happened was that the creators of Donkey Kong, Miyamoto and Gunpei, literally want to say, hey, you know what, we're going to change the game mechanics. Says in the game Donkey Kong, you cannot fall a height higher than your own height. In other words, let's say you're 3 centimeters tall, you can't fall 4 or 3.1, something like that. They got rid of that. They wanted to make it a little bit extra. Mario still jumps around, he still runs around, but now he's going to do other things. In this case, he's going to punch things by jumping up. And they want to make it where he could fall from any height because they just want to change it up a bit. And they came up with Mario Brothers. And by doing what they did, they made it 2-player possible. And I thought this was one of the greatest games for, being mean to each other, perhaps. Whatever you want to call it. Nope, Jumpman. Okay, the history of Jumpman. That's look at that. That's a perfect screen. That's fantastic. This thing's going to kill me today. So Jumpman was the original name of Mario before he became Mario. Mario was actually named... Now, there's a little bit of a... thank you, Ben. Mario was named after either, and depends on who you talk to, the landlord that Nintendo of America first was situated in, or the janitor of the building. There's a bit of a difference between one being a landlord and one being a janitor. And of course, a landlord does fix and clean things for buildings, so it could have been one and the same. Who knows? Who cares? But that's where it came from. And so if you get, depending on what story you hear. Okay, obviously didn't like it. Trying to fix what I just opened up, so let's try it again. Talk amongst yourselves, folks. If you have any questions about any of the games you see or any games in general, I am something of a video game historian. Like I said, I've been doing this for more than 4 decades. But I don't feel old. That's the beauty of it. I'm just told that I'm old. Oh, wow. Okay, we're going to switch emulators then. You know what? Screw this. I'm going to put on that one that works. Maybe. And normally I end streams at 9 o'clock because I have to be somewhere. But I don't have to be anywhere tonight. So you're all stuck with me. Thank you. All right. I'm going to have to start charging more for that. Definitely going to have to start charging more for that. See how high that number goes. 1,000 is just too little. Just too little. And this is the problem with the NES emulator, is the fact that it has like 9,000 consoles to it. Plus the fact they don't even make this anymore. Alright. Let's try again, shall we? So Mario Brothers, like I said, this was the first two-player game that they made of this type. And, yeah, it was a lot of fun to play. That sounds good. It did sound good, because I'm changing up the thing. Oh, cooperate with me. It started off good, and then it dies. Yeah, it sounds bad. This is like the perfect night so far. Properties. Advanced. Let's try this. Okay, back to Mario Brothers. We'll get through this, I swear. We'll get through this, I swear. Famous last words. Okay, I'm dying. I really am. Now, what's interesting about this game is that for the home version, well, Mario is virtually the same. That's how he looked in the arcade game for the most part. A little less in colors. The Shell Creepers, they made like runt versions. I'm not sure why. Just give me a double echo here for whatever reason. Now, every time you knock over a creature, you get a coin out of one of the top pipes. And, well, every time you knock one over and unsuccessfully knock it over, kick it off rather, well, that's bad news because then it becomes a little faster. And of course, if it's the last one left, then nice jump, Mario. Then it becomes its top speed. Each creature had its own type of thing. The Shell Creeper is just a one and out. Then you got the Side Stepper, which is a crab, and you have to knock it twice before you can knock it out. The pesky flies, well, you have to knock them while they're on the floor because they jump. Come on. There you go. Thank you. And the slip ice, well, if you let them do their thing, the slip ice makes it a little tougher for you because it actually makes it slippery. Because the ice is over the board, hence slip ice. Hammer Brothers? Hammer Brothers is a Super Mario Brothers thing. That's where it originates from. Come on. Give me my coin. Thank you. Yeah, the Hammer Brothers, they are unique to Super Mario Brothers at this point. In fact, Bowser is not even a thing yet, believe it or not. Bowser will give him another couple of years. The POW button. That little thing I just ran underneath. That was invented in this game. Okay, so now you have two types of fireballs. You have the blue fireball that dances across from row to row like that. It's worth 200 points if you successfully knock it out, as I didn't. The red fireball, which can go virtually anywhere, is worth 1,000 points. But if you hit it, the next time it appears, it is much faster. This is almost painful. I don't know why. I literally have to see what the hell I have here. That's slowing everything down. You see I missed one. I'll come back to it in a second. I can do that on this board because I have ample time. But not on the other one. Yep, so no Hammer Brothers. That comes later. No Bullet Bill. Just Shell Creepers and Fireballs. They got their start here. Now we're about to see the Sidesteppers. Now you notice that Sidesteppers seem to be a little bit flashing there on the top of the eyes. And that's because that is known as, that's not dithering, but that's known as literally trying to make the sprites a bit where it doesn't flash all the time, because sometimes you have too many sprites on a single row, they disappear. So to avoid that, they kind of made this where they alternately flash. It looked weird on CRT TV, I have to admit. But it looks like they were kind of phasing out there at the top. Oh, you suck. You really suck. Alright. There you go. Oh, I should have waited for the other coin. Oh well. Now, after the end of the next coin bonus, the POW will get restored. You have 3 chances to hit that POW, by the way, so make it good. But anything that's touching the floor will flip. It also gets rid of slip ices, and it also gets coins. Now, the creatures, they can't... Now, see this poor crab. I'm going to be stupid and get rid of the shell creepers first, which will leave me then just one. I gotta watch out because that's where the fireballs appear. Good job. No chain chop. Nope, no chain chop. You're a little ahead of the game there. Thank you. I'm going to pause the game for a second here. Ding, 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 ding. What the hell is taking up all this precious power here? I want to know. None of it. Something is. Twitch Studio is only 7%. So what the hell is killing me? Ah, I see what's doing it. Okay. Okay. Pardon the silence here, folks. I'm watching why this has become an impossible dream. Okay. Yep. Okay. Very good. So imagine you play this game and you're with your best buddy or your brother or your sister or whatever. And then you decide to have some fun. They knock over the thing and, well, all hilarity ensues. This is kind of like what Joust was to me in a way. Oh, I got rid of that fireball. Yay. Next 200 points. Another one will come shortly. Speak of the devil. Ding. See if I can get... Nope, he's going to bounce, and yep, he's going to come right at me, because that's just the way this game works. It's like billiards. So I got this for Christmas one year. I was very happy. And I'll confess here. You gotta remember, I'm a teenager at this point when this game comes out. So, having said that, I found out for Christmas where my parents sadly stashed some of the stuff, and I saw this was it. And I was so excited. I almost ruined it. I almost ruined it. But, because it was so tempting to take it out of the cartridge, you know, be careful with that shrink wrap and, you know, slice it where the flap is and all that. But, no, I didn't do that. Okay, these are the flies. These are arguably the biggest pain in the asses in the game because of the way they are. They're only on the floor for a brief moment. They're in the air majority of the time. No, it's not worth it. Trust me, it isn't. Oh, no. Yes, you can run underneath them. Little Easter egg there. Know your game mechanics. It's that simple. If you know your mechanics, you can play the game to your heart's content. And yet, I see people need Game Genies. Remember Game Genies? No? Action replays? Huh? No? Huh? Same thing? Although action replays didn't come out yet. So I played this a lot for my Atari. Now I had both the Atari 5200 and the Atari 2600. And if you don't know what a 5200 is, you're lucky. No, I shouldn't say that. I love my 5200. It was a rather expensive, somewhat complicated joystick system that was based actually off the Atari 400, 800 hardware. Is that? I'm about to say, there has to be more than that. You've been playing this game for eons, stupid. And the closest to this was the Atari 5200. They did a marvelous job with it. Got to give Atari Soft a lot of... Remember, Nintendo doesn't help Atari make the game, per se. Didn't work that way. Just like when Gary Kitchen designed Donkey Kong for Coleco, he didn't have any cooperation from Nintendo, per se. He had the arcade machine in his office. Oh, shit. Okay. Yeah, see? You suck. Oh, that's close. That is so effing close. I do apologize for the sound here, folks. Yeah, I'm no way out of that one. It was A, too fast. When the crab was the fireball. Well, anyway, when they make these games for the home consoles, they don't have the cooperation of the manufacturer most of the time. Now, sometimes, like Sega actually made Atari games. There we go. So when they ported their games like Star Trek over, for example, Congo Bongo, yeah, it was the actual Sega people doing that. And Star Trek was at least good. Congo Bongo for the 2600 was not good. This is going to be close. There we go. 1.9. So some games are hit and miss. Perfect example, Pac-Man. Hey, Skrellick, how you doing? Welcome to my pokey little, why I got. And my emulator is not enjoying life right now. So, you have to forgive me. Right now we're playing Why I Got the NES. Some of the games that... This is the reason why I have an NES over the years. And I didn't get it for Super Mario Brothers, because we all... okay, there. We all got Super Mario Brothers. Nope. I got it for Donkey Kong. I'm going to have to forfeit that coin. That sucks. Really? Thank you. Appreciate it. As I was telling Chad earlier, this is very similar to the TV I had at home during the time when I had my Nintendo and the Sega Genesis and the Master System and the TurboGrafx and the Atari 7800, the 2600, the 5200. Nah. So, yeah. I had a 19-inch Zenith. Why not? My dad actually loved my grandfather loved Zenith televisions. He insisted on them. And so I got one. I'm not gonna debate my grandfather. He was quite possibly the smartest person. This is a mess. This is the old mess emulator. That instead of running arcade games, it ran consoles, and right now it's having a bit of an issue. So I've kind of had to barrel it down here. Couple points. Yeah. Except for that lost coin. Hey, get over here. Oh. Oh, I forgot all about the stupid slip eyes, and that's the catch on this game. Alright, so you're going to come out from this side. And of course the fireball will be there. Thanks! Wow. That's close. So anyway, I kind of, because I was an arcade junkie, if you will, played a lot of arcade games back when I was a teenager and when I was a kid. I didn't get consoles based on the heavy-duty games. I got them for the arcade games, the arcade ports. And as we'll see a little bit later in the upcoming Mondays, we'll see why I got things like a Genesis and things like the Atari 5200. That's close. And so forth. Even a PlayStation. Because there's at least one game that I bought a system for. Because you don't buy the system for the system, you buy the system for the games. And that's just how it kind of runs. And so when you got a Sega Saturn, first of all, most people ask me why. I tell them because I wanted it for Daytona USA. Or when I got the PlayStation, I wanted it for Tekken. That type of thing. So why did I get a Nintendo Entertainment System? Because I wanted it for Mario Brothers. I wanted it for Donkey Kong. So forth, so on. You know, dippy little games that you played in the arcades. And what was neat about this one, these were all Nintendo first-party games. Oh, come on. And these were the first time Nintendo made their arcade games for the home console. Which was a little unusual at this day and time. Ah! I thought I could jump him. Okay, put out of his misery. Put out of his misery. Put out of his misery. Ugh. That almost was painful. I'm going to take a quick break real fast. Got to hydrate and all that kind of thing. We're heading to the second hour, and we'll be right back. Stand by. Super Mario Brothers, yes. But see, remember, when you bought the Nintendo, you got a Super Mario Brothers. That's how it came. Everyone had Super Mario Brothers if they bought the Nintendo. Okay. So anyway, back to the TV. Oh, I love the TV. I was talking with Chad earlier as well. I don't miss how heavy these things were. That's the advantage, of course, of LCD TVs versus this big old thing. 19-inch television, they were not light, not in the slightest. You know, when amazing, let's say you have like a 40-plus inch screen in your living room or whatever like that, and you can easily lift it. Could you imagine a CRT tube that size? Hell, even rear projection televisions were like super heavy. Excite Bike. I have no idea why it's doing this. It's like it doesn't like me all of a sudden. Okay, so like I said, Nintendo made arcade games up to this point, and this was their first foray into the home unit. They once again brought back video games to your home, and so they had an assortment of arcade games to throw at you. So they did. They threw them all at you. Even Punch-Out, which came a little bit later, wasn't a launch title. But, of course, they had Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, which was not the same thing. It was a little different. Plus, Punch-Out in the arcade was a 2-monitor game, believe it or not. One on top of the other. So, having said that, you have Selection A, you have Selection B, and you have Design. This was neat because you could design your own track. But for the sake of argument, we're just going to play a little bit of Section A. And we have 5 tracks to choose from. Because we're boring. Track 1. Now you have a quick accelerator, which is this thing, which of course brings up your temperature. And how you jump is how you land is how you maintain your speed. Run over those little chevrons there that are on the bottom, anywhere on the track rather. And that'll instantly cool down your very hot engine. Of course, if you crash, you're going to wind up going off to the side. And then, going to wish you hadn't. Yay. I used to play this all the time. Over in a grocery store that was just down the street from me. They had this and Hogan's Alley. Probably don't remember Hogan's Alley so much. It was a light gun game similar to that of Duck Hunt. My voice is so soothing. I'm sorry. You accidentally fell asleep? Okay, fine. I'll talk differently. Okay, then. So anyway, I used to play Excite Bike all the time there in the arcade. And, yeah, that's how it works. Best time is a minute and 24 seconds. Oh, I used to do much higher than that. Age has gotten hot. Thank you. Then I'm going to have to start charging you for those. Oh, there I go. Hit that A button so you can get back to your bike faster. Skip. I have to admit, I'm kind of tired myself. My day has not stopped yet. When I was there in Yeen Stream during lunch, that was actually my lunch break. And I've been working for like 5 hours already, so. Oh, you suck. Nah. County neighbor, yeah. Found out that Blue Raven lives a county south of me. And we've had some interesting weather recently. Interesting by saying absolute catastrophe. Now, I lucked out. I didn't get so much. Some of my family, however, did. And my poor brother actually got about 4 feet of water. So he had to throw some stuff away, I'm afraid. Oh, me too. I've been doing... Well, you know, it's funny. I used to be a school teacher long time ago. And waking up early in the morning, that's just like, you know, me. But I've gone through different jobs over the years and stuff like that. But I've always... when I worked retail, when I worked at Flame Flop, I'd rather close than open. Just because I'm lazy. Yay, I'm number 1! Yay! try the next track. Yeah, okay. Why not? Oh, I remember these things. Now, when you built your own track, I used to be a jerk at it and put like nothing but these things. You know, the three tier thing. Good job. Of course, you do one wrong and... if I had my way, I'd have like obstacles like, you know, shark-infested pools and rings of fire and... Oh, I'll be on. I usually oh, geez, I just overheated almost. I usually do a 2-hour stream. Sometimes, depending on what I'm doing, if I'm actually able to stay. Because a lot of times, believe it or not, right after I end stream, I'm out actually on the road because I get to do other things in my life too. It's just the way it works sometimes. Oh, I hate that sound. I'll still be on at least till 9. So just go ahead and get some rest. I'll see you soon. Blue Raven 26, appreciate it. Okay, 108. Best time was 122. Somehow I'm actually making good time. I don't understand. I don't understand. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, here comes the suckage. Now you have to do wheelies over these things. And of course. As simplistic as this game was, believe it or not, they did make a 64 version of it. Strangely enough, called Excitebike 64. And much to my surprise, it was decent. I mean, was it like, you know, fantastically super spectacular? Nah. But it was fun. And as much as I am not a big fan of Nintendo 64, so you have to forgive me. They made some awesome games for it, don't get me wrong. That's going to be close. That's going to be real close. Yeah, that pretty much lost it. Yeah, no, that definitely lost it. Oh well. Fun while it lasted. Hmm? Totally lost it. Yeah, no chance in hell now. Oh well. Good while it lasted, huh? Yep. That puts me out of third place. Then we'll just take our time. No point in going fast now. So we're going to be like a Florida driver. That's what we're going to do. We're going to be in the left lane at doing 20 miles below the speed limit. Just because. Yeah. It's like putting your button on turbo. Yeah. This is excitement. Look at the photographers there. They're snapping the pictures away. That crowd just like an oil painting watching me crawl. 1 minute and 55. 56. Yeah. Keep going. Keep going. And we might as well, you know, we're going to do it. Might as well do it with full throttle. Oh, that's right. I can't breathe up temperature that way. Yeah. You know, we're going to go through the mud puddles, too. Yeah, mud puddles. Mud puddles. Yeah. This is how a real pro plays. Excite Pike. And then we do this. Eh. And yet I'm still a winner over there. In the arcade game, he actually hang his head low and start crying. Oh my goodness. So, selection B, you're actually riding against other riders. And as always, we're going to start with track 1, because why not? Now, there's 4 of us. At least there's 4 of us here, but it seems like they multiply like rabbits as you get into the race. And even if you do a standstill, oh no. Of course, the way they drive, as they like to squirrel around. Good job, Skip. Get out of my way. It's amazing riding over a chevron actually cools your engine. I've always been fascinated by that. Wish I could do that on the railroad. Yep. Okay. Yeah, the emulator is really starting to act up. You're absolutely right. It's one thing I probably should have checked. So we'll get through this game and then we'll check out one more thing here. It's never done this before. It usually runs NES just quite nicely. Well, for whatever reason, it is not like... Oh, shush. Run over people. Alright, let's see something here. Nope, it's just me. This should not be running this high. Get rid of you. Okay, that took a small dip. Yay, I got number 1. And that's the major difference between Selection 1 and Selection 2 is that you are competitive against other racers in Selection 2, making it that much harder. Get that turbo start. Oh, good lord, come on. Good job. I deserve that one. Ha ha ha! Make him crash. Okay, once again, I kind of deserve that one. That was kind of a dick move, I have to admit. Shush. Ah! No, good lord. Serves you right. Ah. Still made it first. Jump on me like that. I'll show you. just love doing that. Almost perfect. I have to admit, I love making people crash in this game. Ah. Hey there. How you feeling? London Lass is under the weather, folks. That's why she's not been in the stream. But she will be feeling better soon.
We hope.
We hope. Oh, you don't sound good. You alright? It's like my best time. Something seems to be running okay now. Still kind of jittery. Okay, this is the track from hell, folks. Third place is a paltry. Yeah, see. 1 minute, 18 seconds just to get third place. But crashing is big time on this one. Like that. Oh, wow. Threw me all the way out there. Yeah, that's a good move there, Skip. Run off the track. That'll do it all the time. Yep, that's not going to do it. Now, when you have the third place of a minute, yeah. I would like to see them revisit this game. Just for chuckles. What I really would like Nintendo to do, and they haven't. No, it depends on how you crash and how bad you crash. Like this one, that's going to throw me off very little. But if I come in like crashing at a really fast rate, it's going to throw me off my bike at a rather far distance to recover. Or I can just do that. Yep. Not even close. I'm over there somewhere. 11th? There were only 4 bikes! Whatever. Like rabbits. And that's Excite Bike. Now, we're not going to get into the design of track because we're approaching 8:25 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Or Eastern Daylight Time, rather. Stupid Daylight Time. So, that's that. We got one more game to take a look at. And that game's going to be Popeye. So let's go ahead and turn this off. Take out the cartridge. Find Popeye. Virtually, of course. It's there somewhere. It's there somewhere. Nope. It's Pooyan. Ah, Popeye. Not too unsurprising. It's the game that you remember. It's the character you remember. And yes, this was an arcade game. Beep, beep. And there's Popeye there. We're looking at the attract mode there. He's up on these little platforms. He comes down, goes up and down those stairs, up, down that ladder. There's that punching bag there, that barrel that's just to the left of it as well. He grabbed grabbed the spinach can. Now he can beat up old Brutus there. And what he wants to do is capture all those hearts. Should the hearts reach the bottom of the board and into the water, it splits in half. You lose life because then olive oil has a talking to you. But don't run into Brutus when you're not spinached. And there are 3 different boards for each wave. So let's go ahead and take a look at first game, Game A. You use your action button to punch. The higher the hearts are for you, the more points they're worth. So you got 300, 200, 100, and then the dreaded 50 points there at the bottom. Some drop faster than others. Now what I usually do is I start collecting them. By the way, after you hit a certain number, he's going to start getting all rather pissy at you. He's going to start jumping down at you too. Oh, you got me. Into the water I go. Now the heart count thankfully does not reset, so you pretty much are still there. Missed him. I reject Donkey Kong. Don't know. You know what? That's enough. Let's go get me spinach. And as a safety of sorts, Bluto cannot go through that top level. He can only go through the bottom, the second, third, and fourth ones. You can also not climb up the center ladder. And that last one. There you go. I guess in a way it's similar to Donkey Kong per se, yeah. Good job, Bluto. No, gotta get that note before it sinks to the water. There's 3 of them now. Oh. Yeah, he's being an asshole now. Missed it that time. Come here. Give me spinach. Bye. Don't remember anyone having fireballs in this cartoon. No, not fireballs. Now, in the arcade version, the Sea Hag would appear on the sides as well, throwing skulls at you and such. I think that might be in Game B, the harder of the two. Oh dear. Now we have to collect all the letters. And you have to watch out for this fella. So the game is a bit repetitive, true. Unlike Donkey Kong, which differentiated, with the styles, whether you're avoiding springs or barrels or, running over rivets and pies and things of that nature. This game did have a... shut up. That E is on a fast... So you get too close to Brutus. Now the spinach can will be down here. No, I'm not going to get him, am I? Got him! Yeah. That's an extra life. Close. Get away from there. There you go. And it's that simple. The game, like I said, it's not the most exciting game in the world. Certainly not the most complex game in the world. But it was a fun game. There's old Sea Hag. dropping skulls down. Now, Sea Hag in the arcade game actually appeared on the sides and did not drop skulls. But, you know, nobody's perfect, huh? In the arcade game, you can climb down the ladder, but not go back up it. I'm about to say, curiously, he's been hanging around that middle board for whatever reason. Oh! Oh! You know what? I've had enough of you. There you go. Suck it, Brutus! Yeah, a lot of early games, Vin, were quite repetitive. Like I said, this is, you know, remember, these are arcade games, so they oh, wow, I can't believe I just did that. These were arcade games, so they really didn't have, you know, complexity, per se. Like, the object of Pac-Man is to eat all the dots. That's close. And avoid the ghosts. And that's about it. Love how the music changes too, depending on what's going on. You know, it's time. Oh, you suck. I didn't get Brutus. You lucked out there, Skip. It's the last one. There you go. And once again, Sea Hag will be pestering there in a moment. Now, see, I had this game initially for the Atari 2600, and it was actually decent. Not all 2600 game ports were bad. There were actually some pretty good ones out there. And I've showed them before in the, you know, am I that stupid? Sure I am. Okay, great. Yeah. Yep. I have to sacrifice this early. Can I get him? Can I get him? Can I get him? Nope. Anyway. Oh, yes. Saw that coming. Yeah. Yes, you can punch the bird. And unlike me, Bluto does not seem to have problems jumping the chasms. Oh, shut up. Ah, it was just a matter of when. Okay. I got my spinach back, though. Yes. Oh, you suck. Oh, you lucked out. You. There you go. Just waiting for it. Does it get harder? Yeah, it does. So like I said, I had it for the 2600. I had it for the ColecoVision as well. Parker Brothers made the... Yeah, that was that. Parker Brothers made the earlier games. And they did a good job with it. They made some fantastic arcade ports. Frogger, Reactor. They even made a couple of Star Wars games. They made the arcade game, and they made a Empire Strikes Back game for the Atari 2600 that actually involved the snow speeders and the AT-ATs. That was actually really, really cool to play. So there's that. Let's try Game B, and then we'll pretty much see what other adventures await us. I think I finally got the thing to stabilize a bit. I hate to say this, I think it was the studio that was the bane of my problems. Because I know emulators sometimes don't like... So right off the bat, you got Sea Hag tossing down skulls. Okay, that makes sense. Exactly. That's close. Ooh. I usually don't get the spinach until about at least halfway. Yeah, good job. Yeah. Hey, he's worth 3,000 points in the arcade. No fair. Yeah, that's good enough. Yeah, he always pauses before he goes up the stairs, which is a good thing in this case. Also, heart points are worth doubled when you're on spinach. Which sounds wrong, but... yeah, when you're drugged up on spinach. Sure. Okay. Couple quick, easy points. I'm about to say, what the hell were you doing? Oh! How could I miss that one? Get those points. This is a points game. For what it's worth. 1,000 points, wow. Because it was at the top tier. There you go. You can punch the bottle, sure. Yeah, the bottles are punchable. The skulls, bottles, the bird. The only thing that's not punchable is Bluto when you don't have spinach. Now, when you have spinach, you just merely run into the guy. Somehow I got 2 lives. Well, no, it's a new game. Duh! I was like, why is my score only 18,000? Wow. And thank goodness the body language is there. Oh! Couldn't get a punch in. Like, for example, you know he's going to punch up when he starts looking up and not at the stairwell. Easy come, easy go. Yeah, I hate hanging around that bottom level. Because he does shit like that. And time to get those letters before they hit the water. There you go. That 1,000-point letter. Oh, that P is coming down awful fast. Okay. Oh, thank goodness for going up. Yes. Okay. And spin, rinse, and repeat. As you see now, there are 3 skulls instead of just merely 2. Oh. Brutus is being extra badass. I'm gonna take a risk. Bye! Hurry, hurry, hurry. Yeah. Pluto, Brutus, depending on the era. He's large. Oh, if you haven't seen that fantastic film, no. Oh, good lord, really? So, unfortunately, thank you. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how much of a bad movie do you really like? And there goes the frame rate again. Just by merely mentioning the movie I'm about to... Oh my goodness. I'll get to it. There was a movie that Robin Williams made and Shelley Duvall, and it's called Popeye. And it depends on what kind of a masochist you are. Wow, 4 now. How much do you really like this movie? Oh, I meant to go to the right. Okay. Not too bad. I've seen Avatar, Blue People. Can't be that bad. You know, a lot of people like Avatar. It's okay. Wasn't exactly the be-all movie for me, though, to be honest. I mean, it was okay. You don't remember it? I remember they were blue people. I remember Sigourney Weaver was in it. I remember Sigourney Weaver was in it. And, what was it, Christian Bale? He was in it, I think? He wasn't Christian Bale? Somebody. I know James Cameron directed it. Sam Worthington. Somebody. Some actor. I don't know. It was okay. Like I said, I'm kind of more of a Star Trek, Star Wars kind of person than anything else. Since we're here, we ran out of the 4 games, and we still got some time. And my computer has not died yet. Let me try something here real quick. Going through. Let's see what we got here. What quickie game can we play since we have arguably the world's greatest video game console of its time? Video games back... What the heck? Thank you. The console that brought back video gaming for your home. I saw some people play some really good games, and I'm not coming up with any myself here. I mean, anyone can play these. Yeah. All right. Well, you know what? Whatever. Ta-da! We mentioned it was in the picture. Like I said, this is not the reason why I have a Nintendo. It is a default game. In other words, you got this game with your console, whether you want it or not. When I used to work for Flame Flop, or it's sound alike. Yeah, it was somewhere within the highest grossing film. It was at the time. I think it's been eclipsed by one of the Avengers movies, or
The Way of Water.
The Way of Water, something. Like I said, for me, Avatar would be the Nickelodeon Canadian anime series. That's my Avatar. For this particular game, when it got traded in, you got a whole quarter for it because it was just that common. We all had one. So, but strangely enough, they did sell it outside of the system too. You can actually buy it separately. Not sure why. That's it's a little unusual. Just like for the Atari 7800, you got Pole Position 2 as your packed-in game, but you couldn't buy that separately. But here, you could buy Super Mario Bros. Separately. So, ba-da-ba-ba-da-bap. Could be. Maybe you got your Nintendo secondhand. No, it's possible. Drowsy Asteroid, hey, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. We're streaming as to why I got a console. And this game was not one of the reasons why, by the way. Just to give you a heads up. I know it's here somewhere. It's been so long. And you know, screw it. It's been so long since I played this. Yeah, good job. Good, I'm glad you're doing good. Absolutely. It's Monday. More specifically, it's Monday evening. Means the day's about to come to an end. If you had a crappy day at work, well, now you're at home, you're watching Twitch, watching me play this game horribly. All is good. I used to play this game in a place called a Circle K. It's a convenience store, if you don't have one in your neck of the woods. Similar to 7-Eleven, except worse. And that's hard to imagine sometimes. But they used to have this. The owner of the place had an arcade machine, had this game, and my best friend and I would go out there after school. Good job. And we would literally get a couple of slush puppies, which was like an icy type drink. And yeah, we'd play this game. We didn't play two-player because it was kind of pointless. And what are you going to do? You're going to play Luigi, right? Yeah. After I play Mario, right? Yeah. Because the original Mario Brothers, you both played at the same time. Here it was alternating. So we didn't do that. Really? Yeah. And like I said, I got my NES for games like Donkey Kong, for the original Mario Brothers, for Excitebike. Oh, you suck. That too. And Popeye. Yes, I didn't make it through rolled 1-1. Good job. He wants to play exactly. He wants to play as a second banana. Now, remember that Super Mario 2 for the NES came out, which was not the same Super Mario Brothers 2 that came out in Japan. Super Mario Brothers 2 in Japan. Have you ever seen that game? That game is like this game on evil steroids, because you had the kill mushroom, and then you had breeze that would push you back and everything like that. Ridiculous game. But let's try this again. I discovered I cannot play this game and talk at the same time. It's the second time I did that. Yeah, there it is. I got that one up. I probably could have done better. But no, I couldn't do that either. And once again, the pair of people who made Donkey Kong also made this game. So now you know what I go through. I cannot believe I did it. Yeah, that one. Now, see, in the arcade game, that one-up is not there. It's actually somewhere else. Let's keep that in mind. That was to this version, the home version. And there are minor differences between this and the arcade version. Mostly cosmetic, or the placement of things. Hello, Gabby. So glad you were able to join us here in the stream. That's a little Shih Tzu that lives here. And he's one of those little Shih Tzu where I would like to hit mute on the second syllable of that word. Okay. World 1, 2. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Put in a dry... No. We don't put dogs in dryers around here. And that's not a good thing. That's not exactly a welcome thing either. I forgot about that. Everyone's favorite. So when this game came out in '85, you have to remember the arcades didn't reel so much from the video game crash. That was mostly the home unit. The arcade games actually did okay, and some of the better games, like Gauntlet, came out in '84, one of my absolute favorites. Dragon's Lair came out in '83, just after the crash. Good job. Okay. I admired the people who continued playing this game and practice. I'm an old school gamer. That's true. I'm not gonna. I don't play these games regularly. That's the thing. Oh, good job. So I'm as rusty as hell. Now, games like I mentioned before, the kill screen games like Pac-Man, Galaga, Ms. Pac-Man. Yeah, I play them fairly regularly. They're my chill-out games. But there you go. Games like this, no, not so much. Oh, and I hate little Spiky up there too. And the reason why he keeps his head down because there's a maximum of how many appear at the screen all at once. Pac-Man is... Oh, that's right, that's right. We have... Oh, God Lord. Okay, so I'll tell a story about Pac-Man as I die here. And I get interrupted by dogs here, so just keep that in mind. Pac-Man, I first played in the arcades. The year it came out, in fact, it was that summer it came out. My dad's best friend was a video game dealer. He dealt with arcade games and home games alike. In fact, that's how we got our first Atari and such. So I got my first Atari back in the 70s through him. Okay, so Pac-Man came out, and I thought, what a fantastic game. It was colorful, the sounds were fantastic, and I just learned how to play it. Now, not including the Atari version, because you know how accurate that sucker was. I just learned how to play the game, and I just played the game, and I learned how each of the ghosts moves, and I learned certain things about the maze itself. Like, for example, the two T's that are above and below the ghost chamber. The ghosts cannot move up it. They can only move down it in normal mode. Now, unless they're doing a reverse at that particular moment, which is possible, or if they're in scatter mode, in other words, they're blue, they can go up them, but they cannot go down them. When they exit the ghost box, they always move to the left, unless a reverse happens, or they turn blue, and then they go to the right. That type of shit. So the red ghost always chases you. The pink ghost tries to catch you off at the pass. In other words, they kind of go up and then maybe over one. The blue ghost, well, he's a horrible chicken player. So he will, if you charge at him, he will run away or, go in an alternate direction. The orange ghost just hangs around there. He's just there in your quadrant wherever you are. He does not actively chase you. He's just a pain in the ass. And you will not believe how many times you get caught by the orange ghost just because of that. More or less a spoiler. You turn corners faster than the ghosts do. You do slow down when you eat. That kind of stuff. But that's how you play the game. You learn those mechanics, and you kind of can steer the ghost in the directions that you want them to go. Good job. Gonna head off? Okay. London Lass. Skrillex says hi. She says hi. She's not feeling too good tonight, Skrillex, though. Oh, good job. Ta-da! I'll see you later. I'll see you later there, Skrillex. Skrillex7, fantastic streamer. Catch him out whenever you can. Does mostly nights. And he does a good game, I tell you that. Me, on the other hand, I'm just old. Thanks, Skrillex. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, we're going to go over here. Warp 5. So when Ms. Pac-Man came out, I was delighted. First time I ever played that. Nope, Warp 8 is the last warp level. No, actually, you can warp to Warp 8 if you go to... I didn't go to the right board because, you know, it's me. I thought I could do that. Yeah, shut up. So anyway... when Ms. Pac-Man came out, I was delighted. I first played in the Mr. Donut, if you can believe that. They actually had them back in those days. Will you blow up if you hit Warp 9? That's a very good question, Vin. The answer to that is no. If you recall, in the older Star Treks, they actually went up to Warp 10 and 11. And that's because they didn't know the warp speeds at the time, or they just didn't care. It sounded more impressive. That crap didn't happen until the next generation. Anyway, back to Mr. Donut. So I played it. It was a cocktail table Ms. Pac-Man. And I was looking at the game, and I was like, wow, this is just like Pac-Man. No, it's not. It was not even designed by the same people who made Pac-Man. Iwatana, who made the original Pac-Man game. Iwatawa, excuse me. And he had nothing to do with Ms. Pac-Man whatsoever. It's actually, the original game was called Crazy Otto. And Crazy Otto was purchased by Midway, and they kind of retooled it, and up came Ms. Pac-Man, and they made some rule changes, like, for example, instead of going to the, scattering to the four corners, like they do in Pac-Man about 4 or 5 times per maze, they only have one reversal. They don't go to the corners at all. The red and pink ones don't. The blue and orange still do. And some other minor tweaks of the rules. You cannot use patterns in Ms. Pac-Man. It is impossible, because the red and the pink ghosts go random before they do their first reversal. Then about 90 seconds later, they'll do a second reversal, and that's it. They don't do any more after that point. I love the game. I love it better than Pac-Man, as a matter of fact. But I've been playing them both since they debuted. So I enjoy watching people play games like that, Drowsy Asteroid, simply because of the fact that I was around when it first came out, and I was playing it when it first came out. And then I see younger gamers and streamers play these games relatively, whether it's the first time or they've been doing it for just a short while, and they learn the game. They play the game, they get better and better at it as they play it. And I see this one kid who plays Donkey Kong. He's only been playing it for 4 years. And yet he plays it so wildly, getting all kinds of points right and left. I don't play it that way. I play more survival. But it's incredible. His skills, his speed, his dexterity is incredible. And I love seeing that. I really do. It's just it's not nostalgia for me per se, because I still play games to this day. But I'm just an old classic gamer who got started back in the 70s. So what can I say? What time is it? It's 9:02. Normally, this is when I pretty much end stream because I only do two 2 hour streams per se. It's always cool to see how other people. Yeah, it is. It is. Especially when the emulator works properly. I made the mistake of playing Miss Pac-Man for points. Ghost got too fast by 5 stage. I tell you what, Vin. Board 19. That's the 19th maze. Now remember, there's only 7 symbols for the fruit or whatever like that in Ms. Pac-Man. So they will start repeating randomly. In other words, you might get a cherry, you might get a banana, you might get a pretzel, whatever. On the 19th stage, the energizers stop working. In other words, the ghosts just merely reverse. They don't turn blue. You get an intermission, get stage 20. They will work for maybe 2 seconds. And then when you get to the 21st stage and onward, all the way up to the kill screen, they don't work anymore. Now imagine playing that until you just simply run out of lives. And that's what I wind up doing. And I made over 1 million points in Ms. Pac-Man. I am not a record holder by any means, but it's just I've been playing the game forever. A lot of times I'll pick a score like 555,550. And I'll run up to that score and I'll stop. And if I have 1, 2, 3 lives left, I'll just let it go. And I used to drive the people at this big arcade nuts because I'd be playing that game for maybe an hour. Okay, with that said, with that useless little story of my reminiscing of what a horrible gamer I was, still am. Let's see. He was out of town Saturday. I wonder if he's still out of town. Because I have to admit, I have not had a chance to go on Discord to see if he's back today. Ah, he is. Okay, we're going to head off to a streamer right now. We're going to do a little bit of rating here. We're going to head off to a streamer. His name is Dixie Chris. And, he has a bonkers stream. He has a gremlin chat that really likes to dump on him a lot. He's a lot of fun to watch. He plays some really cool games. And it's amazing he can actually get through a game, to be fair. Oh, there he is right now. All right, so having said that, if you like what you saw, if you haven't followed me already, please give me a follow. I greatly would appreciate it. I have a YouTube page with all the past crap that I've done on Twitch. I have an Instagram page of all the past crap that I've collected. I have another YouTube channel with match game crap. And I have Twitter, which I forget to tweet crap on because I'm too busy doing this. And I have a Discord page that's now set up so you can crap on that too. All kinds of crap. Crappity crap. In the meantime, have yourself a good night. I'll see you again on Thursday night. We're going to try to wrap up Secret of Mana, the classic SNES RPG. We're pretty much at the end of it. We might just beat it. How about that? Here's Dixie Chris. Have a good night. We'll see y'all later. Bye. Wrong title card, jeez. Ah.